Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of a super common, but also, let's be honest, a really weird English idiom, couch potato.
Okay, let's just jump right in with the obvious question here. What in the world does a couch, a piece of furniture, have in common with a potato, a vegetable? It sounds like the setup for a really bad joke, doesn't it?
I mean, really think about it. A couch is for sitting. A potato is something you eat. These are two completely, totally unrelated things. So how on earth did they get mashed together to describe a type of person?
All right, it's time to solve this mystery. Let's decode this very peculiar idiom.
And here it is, plain and simple. A couch potato is basically someone who spends a lot of time on the couch, usually watching TV and just not moving much. It's like they've planted themselves on the sofa and taken root, kind of like a potato growing in the ground.
So what are the classic signs of a couch potato? Well, we're talking about someone who absolutely loves binge-watching TV for hours on end. They'd much rather stay indoors than go out. They lead what we call a sedentary or inactive lifestyle. And yeah, it's generally understood that they're being, a little bit lazy.
So, how does it feel to be called a couch potato? Well, it's definitely not a compliment. It usually has a slightly negative but also humorous vibe. It's not a serious insult or anything, more like a lighthearted jab.
Okay, but where did this phrase even come from? It feels so modern, but let's take a look at its actual origin story.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The term was actually made up way back in 1976, but it didn't really catch on and become popular until the 1980s. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense, right? The 80s were the beginning of cable TV, VCRs, home entertainment just exploded. It was basically the birth of binge watching, giving people a brand new reason to stay glued to their couches.
Okay, knowing the history is cool and all, but let's get to the most important part. How do you actually use this phrase in a real conversation?
You can definitely use it to describe yourself. In this situation, you're using it in a funny, self-aware way. You're just saying you plan to relax and do absolutely nothing, which we all need sometimes.
Here's another common way to use it. It can be part of some friendly advice or a gentle criticism. A doctor might say this to a patient to encourage them to get more active. It sounds a whole lot nicer than just saying, "You're being lazy."
And of course, you can use it to talk about somebody else. I think we all know someone who's gotten totally sucked into a new show or a video game and has just temporarily become a complete couch potato. It's so relatable.
So you might be wondering, why are we spending all this time talking about one silly little phrase? Well, because understanding idioms like this one is a really big deal for speaking English fluently.
Idioms are like the secret sauce of a language. They're what make it flavorful and interesting. They add color and personality to your speech in a way that just learning grammar rules can never do. When you use them correctly, it shows you're moving beyond textbook English and really starting to get the culture behind the words.
All right, so let's do a quick recap. What do you need to remember? 1, couch potato means a lazy, inactive person. 2, it's informal and usually said in a funny way. And 3, nailing idioms like this one shows you have a much deeper understanding of the language and its culture.
And there you have it, the whole story of the couch potato. It really makes you think. English is full of these weird and wonderful phrases. So I'll leave you with this. What's the strangest idiom you've ever come across? Thanks so much for tuning in to The Explainer.